out, I used to hang out in forums and talk with you all the time. But now you're busy with a lot of other things as well. Why don't you just get everyone up to speed? Many people are familiar with a lot of your past writings dealing with the singularity and artificial intelligence, but you keep yourself busy doing a few other things nowadays. Why don't you give everyone a little update?
All right. Well, let's see. I'm doing writing for my blog, obviously, Accelerating Future. It's coming along nicely.
Accelerating Future, right?
Yeah.
Accelerating Future, the name of the blog. Okay.
Right. And let's see. I'm working on a book on transhumanism that it's a book that a lot of people have been saying, why isn't there one of these? Which it kind of goes over lots of the basic transhumanist concepts like molecular nanotechnology, life extension, artificial intelligence, and other of the important areas. So hoping to get that out by the end of the year.
Okay.
And then I was recently voted onto the board of the World Transhumanist Association. So we are really active planning this conference that you just announced, and I wasn't even sure. I didn't even know that it was public yet, but yep, now it is. And yeah, we're going to have a conference at the Computer History Museum, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm working together with the other co-founders of the Immortality Institute who are also really involved in that on moving it forward.
Yeah, Bruce and Susan, correct?
Yeah.
Bruce and Susan, yes, they're of course going to be helping out as well, living out in the Bay Area with you. Now, that's a good update. Thanks for filling us in. Well, I didn't even know if, I figured I found out the date. I wanted to let everyone know what the date of the conference was and where it was going to be held. So I figured publicize it early as possible. We get as many people as possible going to the conference. Now, one thing I wanted to say, talk about, since this is one of your early interests, was the singularity. Where is it? What's going on? Give us an update.
Well, I think that what's happened over the last 5 years, as you remarked, is that the word has been repeated so many times that it started to lose a lot of its meaning. It's kind of sort of turned into a techie buzzword that you can say at a conference or at the bar or at dinner or something. So kind of a keyword you can drop to make people think you might be cool or you might be up on things. But that's not really what the word ever kind of meant. And, it's been confusing since the word was produced because to different people it means so many different things. For instance, there's the notion that technological progress is soaring up this asymptotic graph into infinity. And that's what the singularity is. And that's really just silly because you can't have infinite technological progress, obviously. I mean, there's limited space, time, money, energy, all those factors. So unfortunately, some of the more sober and rational discussions around the singularity, such as the mere question, can a smarter than human intelligence exist, get unfairly associated with crack pottery. And so therefore I decided it would be best if we mainly just ditched the entire word singularity and start to speak more specifically when we use the term, what specific claims are we discussing? Otherwise, people just get too confused and they think they understand the singularity because they've seen some facet of someone that said they were talking about the singularity, but in fact they don't see the whole picture because they're seeing a little tiny piece of it.
Aha. So, okay. So too many people are using it and it's getting out of control, and you figure that it's achieved maybe even some semi-religious connotation out there in the general public, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I understand you there. But let's say, based on, say, Werner Vinge's original explanation of the singularity back in 93, maybe, when he published his paper, how are we progressing? As far as I can tell, it seems as though, like Kurzweil has picked up quite a bit on the singularity concept, of course, and made it very popular and wrote books and stuff. As far as the predictions are going, like Kurzweil, and as far as what I can see with all the activity in nanotech and computer and artificial intelligence, it seems like things are continuing on a pace that was predicted. I mean, what do you think so as well?
I think on some questions, yes, on some questions, no. This ties into the complexity of the term. I mean, can you say technological progress in general is going along faster than it was 10, 20 years ago? I think so, yes. But is progress going faster towards, for instance, molecular nanotechnology than it was back then? I'd say no. Like, still today, not many people know what that is, and that's why I like to break the term singularity down to its components. For instance, artificial general intelligence. People think about it, people care about it, but lots of the same major companies that were working towards artificial general intelligence 10 years ago are still the same companies today, and there aren't that many new ones that have really been introduced. So there is progress, but it depends. You have to narrow down to what you're talking about. Technology in general, yes, is doing great, but I don't think that any form of technology will necessarily contribute to what Werner Vinge called a singularity. For instance, stem cell research might be good for progress towards regenerative medicine, but does it do anything for human intelligence enhancement or creating a smarter being of any sort?
No,
probably not.
Not really.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe so, maybe not, but I've never heard anyone talking about using stem cells to create enhanced human intelligence, so it's an unwarranted connection.
Yeah, it's staying on that topic just a little bit here as far as augmenting human intelligence. It seems that we are getting a little closer in that regard as well, as far as brain scanning techniques, knowledge about the brain and brain processes seems to be continuing apace, as well as brain-computer interfaces. Not only the skull cap video game controllers, but implanting chips, electronics within the human brain. It seems that is also that research is continuing rather apace. It seems like we get more every year. And as far as that aspect of the singularity and transhumanism augmenting human intelligence, wouldn't you say that that's something that still seems to be on the near-term horizon?
Unfortunately, my answer would be no, because I think that human brain-computer interfacing research has progressed in the last 10, 15 years, but I'd say it's possibly maybe even a little bit slightly less than I had anticipated. For instance, the video gaming interface, it merely uses EKG information, or EEG, electro, and so I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either. I'm in the same boat. Encephalography, whatever. Okay, we know what you're talking about.
Right. It doesn't. So that's a technology that's been around for a long time. I can't tell how any fundamental advances that their headset has achieved or their company has achieved yet, because I haven't seen the technology in action. But from what I can tell, it's based on stuff that's been around for a while. And I can remark another area where, for instance, it seems like there hasn't been much progress. On New Scientist, it was about 4 to 5 years ago, there was an article on the possibility of creating a prosthetic hippocampus based on mimicking the input-output streams of the real hippocampus. And that sounded really exciting and like it was a serious step forward. But since then, there's been very little news of any progress on that front whatsoever. So, I mean, there is a lot of progress in brain-computer interfacing. You do see it all the time, and it's impressive to someone that might not know that this field is going ahead, but we're still quite a ways away from using brain-computer interfaces to actually qualitatively enhance human intelligence.
Okay, so I guess really what I have seen is using brain-computer interfaces for the most part to help us, to manipulate software, to manipulate robotic hands and stuff like that. But you're right, not